The recent exertions at Drumcree took their toll on Mr Gracie, who retired early from Loughgall with tiredness. Not one of the estimated 25,000 people at the field would have quibbled at that. In all, 163 lodges and more than 100 bands took part, with thousands of supporters. This is, after all, the home of the order. LOL 85 in Loughgall, walking through the birthplace of the Orange Order at the beginning of the month, celebrating the Battle of the Diamond. These fields echoed to the fighting 200 years ago. The battle is still celebrated today. They unfurled a new banner at the Diamond Orange Hall that night. There was no hint then that it would need to withstand an attempted petrol bombing last night. Back at the field, the County Grand Master, Norman Allen, a member of LOL 85 himself, was delighted with the way the day was going, but the politics of conflict weren't far from his mind.
My own lodge was petrol bombed last night. The Belit Hall was blown up. What message can you send out? You can't send out a message of peace. We're still being attacked. And in fact, I think that the Orange Order is at this moment bearing the brunt of the attack.
David Trimble has become something of a hero to the Orange faithful. After his efforts in Portadown, he was out to enjoy today.
I was very happy, obviously, that we managed to resolve the situation in Drumcree satisfactorily, and after we got down into Portadown yesterday morning, I knew that today was going to be a very good day.
The resolutions reaffirmed the twin pillars of the order, the Protestant faith and loyalty to the monarch, but not surprisingly, the speeches were full of references to the Portadown face-off, the Orange Order declaring it a triumph for the cause. Most of this was lost on two Australian visitors who just took in the spectacle.
So huge. So I haven't seen anything this big, and yeah, everyone seems pretty dedicated to it.
Oh, it's great. We've got nothing like this in Australia. No processions like this, that's for sure. Yeah, very interesting.
But some locals managed to miss the politics of the moment at Loughgall also, without even trying too hard, maybe resting for next year's 12th.
Midday in Ballymena, Ulster's Protestant heartland. The skins of the lamb begs are getting an early warming as the members of 29 lodges arrive for their big day out. Some arrive in style. There are also those who've walked several miles to the assembly point, ready for another 4.5 miles to the field at Clinty. The walk took the lodges and bands through the streets of Ballymena town centre. At the head of the procession, the Ulster Unionist leader, Jim Molyneux. He may have been the star of the show, but the 2,000 who paraded behind him were no less welcomed along the route by the townsfolk and visitors.
Here in Ballymena, our arrangements have gone off extremely well so far. We don't recognise sort of Catholic Protestant areas here. Ballymena is a mixed community, and that's the way we hope it will stay.
2.5 hours and a very pleasant stroll in the sun later, a very traditional arrival at the field, tired and hungry. It's time to reward those feet. Some of the walkers needed a little more attention.
Once they reach the field, they have all the aches and pains from the walk, and you get a long list of sore feet and blisters, etc. Just dealing with a steady string of that sort of stuff.
One man who didn't need first aid was this 93-year-old who hasn't missed a 12th in 75 years.
And what's been so special about them?
Oh, just a proud day out.
Perhaps the most deserving of a rest were the drummers. Their arms ached just as much as their legs.
Been drumming ever since I went. I just can't wait to get the 4 drums into the field.
What's so special about the lambeg drum?
The tone offer and drumming to the fife, the tune, you know, in harmony with the fife.
the serious side to the day out is the speeches. Jim Molyneux warned Orange men that they must respect and protect the interests of those with different aspirations.
I can remember my own lodge walking through a country area, and when we passed a group of Catholic houses, they would have been mortally offended if we didn't stop and avail ourselves of their offer of a drink of nice cool spring water. My ambition would be to get back to that happy situation.
Tradition is a big word around the 12th of July. An Orangeman must have his traditional collar. Or must he?
Well, I could have sold them about 20 times a day, like, you know.
Perhaps this break with tradition could just set a trend for a little change.
A blaze of colour on the 12th of July and the first major demonstration in Garva for 23 years. It hardly seemed possible, but tens of thousands packed into this small County Londonderry village. Around 125 lodges were present, from Coleraine and Limavady in the north through to Kilrea and Tamlat O'Crilly in the centre of the county. South Londonderry was well represented too, with lodges from Castle Dawson and Macrafelt, as well as Moneymore and Ballyronan.
Hey! By the left! Quick! March!
The City of Londonderry Grand Lodge, with its 5 districts, including Donegal, brought the number of Orange men in Garva to around 15,000. They'd started early with their traditional parade in Londonderry at 8:30 this morning. They marched from the waterside over Craigavon Bridge onto the nationalist West Bank. After a parade around the city centre, it was back to the waterside before boarding buses for Garva. In Garva itself, it seemed every available vantage point was taken, although Daddy's shoulders were a big help. Others just made sure their buggy was in pole position. There was no shortage of energy either, as future stars displayed some nimble footwork. Others were determined to get into the rhythm. Some were more studious than others and took it all very seriously. While drums were heard in some quarters, they fell silent elsewhere. It was all too much for some. And so it was almost time for the field, a chance to get some rest and recuperation. Old acquaintances were renewed as Orange men reflected.
It's a sort of tradition, a sort of religion, a sort of faith found in the Bible, so it's very important.
Well, this is a very important day for us here in County Londonderry.
Why is that?
Because it's, well, apart from being the 200th anniversary, you know, of the formation of the Orange Order, the City of Londonderry and County are coming together. For this demonstration, there'll be about upwards of 125 lodges and bands here today. And we have our friends from East Donegal. They're very welcome.
Some had come thousands of miles just for the occasion.
The way the people are lovely, the welcome, the cordiality, the discipline, and then the turn up of members on time when they are called for the demonstration.
It's good to be here then.
Oh, very lovely to be here. And I like the weather.
With the 12th almost over, it was time to call it a day. But for the younger generation, it's never too early to start trying out the bowler for size.